Hey everybody, so as you know, this year I'm going to try to do a Christmas card kit every month, and this month I have picked this Whimsy Stamps image called Angelica. Isn't she so cute? She's got a little bird friend up there and her little squirrel helping her out making snowballs. I'm only going to cut out a limited number of these, so if you want to get one, I'd head over to the store and grab one right away. I'll put a link down in the description box to the store, and you can just type Angelica into the search box at the top of the store, and it should pull up if it's still available. If it's gone, then it's no longer there. I've already stamped my image on Nina 80-pound solar white cardstock with Memento Tuxedo black ink. So let's color. Alright, so I'm going to start by outlining my image this time because I'm going to color a couple of things red and I don't want to accidentally touch it. It never fails if I color something red. I touch it with another ink marker and it gets it everywhere. So I'm just going to outline first. And for my outlining, I'm going to use B_0 and my colorless blender. And I'm just going to start with my B_0 and I'm just going to outline my whole image, and I'm not going to worry about the bottom down there. I'm just going to start here at the side and I'm going to go all the way around. And it's such a light color that if you get some on, you know, on his tail or somewhere, it's fine. You can just use your colors blender to push it back out. It's not going to be a big deal. I'm just going to go all the way around. I love these little curly cues in her hair. Up here. Clear down, back around here to the bottom of my snowflake. And then up here she's got this great little bird, so I'm going to go ahead and outline my branches and go up here underneath this branch, underneath that cute snowdrop. And go all the way around my bird and back over here to this side of my branch. And then I'm going to take my colorless blender and I'm just going to touch down on top of my bead B_0 and I'm just going to brush out here away from my colored line into the white. And I actually don't care that I'm touching the image. Luckily for me, see, I haven't colored it yet. So I'm just brushing all the way around and I'm just softening that edge of that line just a little bit with my colorless blender. And we'll get up here by my bird, same thing, I'm just brushing away from my line, just really scribbling over it and softening it all up. And that's all there was to it, to my outlining. And I actually took my image and I popped it back into this Labels 1 Spellbinders die, and I distressed around inside here with Ranger Distress Ink Antique Linen. So if you don't have your Spellbinders Labels 1 die, you can always just carefully go in here if you want and distress around your girl a little bit more with that. That just gave it a little bit more of a darker image around her. So let's go do her skin. So for her skin, I'm going to use my standard go-to colors of E21, E00, E000. For the cheeks, I'm going to use R20 and R30. These are just my favorite colors, but there's a whole list of them on the store blog under Skin Tones Copic markers that you could pick any of those colors to color your skin with. Try out different ones and see what you like. So I'm going to start with E21, and I always start with my darkest and go to lightest, and I put my E21 down where I want my shadows to be the deepest. So I'm going to go right underneath of her neck right there and a little bit down along this hairline. Okay, and then you know that she's facing kind of up like this, so I'm going to say the sun's going to be coming kind of down over here. And I'm just going to add a nice light line right along her face and underneath of her brow. Her little bangs are going to be casting a shadow. And I always go all the way around the face so it makes it look like it kind of rolls over. And then she's got this cute little button nose right here, but I'm going to give her a little bit of a definition of a line like that, just so it looks like it's got a little bit of shadow right there. And then I'm going to switch to E00. I'm going to fill in her neck. And then I'll go up here and I'm going to brush right on top of my E21 and lay down some of my E00. Flicking right over the top. And brushing right out here into my white. I'll go up here and do this line. And I'm going to try not to color over her eye. I want to leave that cute little white dot in there, but if I colored over it, that'd be fine. I just use my Colors Blender later to take it back off. So I went over her little nose thing, and then I'm going to grab my E000, and again lay down on top of your E00, and brush into your white space. And then we're going to add some cheek color, so I'm going to grab E20. And I'm going to say her cheeks, I kind of try to go right underneath of her eye a little bit. So I'm going to add my little circle of my R20 right here. And then over here I'm going to add some R20. And then I'm going to grab the R30 pen. And I'm going to touch just the edge of my R20 and flick out just a little bit away from my R20. Just to soften that edge just a little bit. Okay, and then I'm going to start over with my skin tone. So I'm going to grab E21 again. And I'm actually going to darken this side up just a little bit more, so I'm going to make my line just a little bit wider. Come up here to the top of her hair right there. And then I'm going to grab E00. And we're going to pull that line right in here towards her cheek. And I'm also going to come from this side, brush over her cheek. And then I'm going to finish it up with my E000. I'm just going to brush right over the whole thing. And that's it for her skin. So let's go do her hair. So for her hair, I made her blonde, so we're going to use E55, E53, and E51. I'm going to start with my E55. And I'm going to start on this part right here. So I'm going to take my E55 and I'm going to come right from her part and I'm going to flick in the direction that the hair is growing down like so. Okay, like that. And then I come up from the bottom. I also want to darken up some of the bottom part, so I'm going to come down here from a little flip and again going in the direction that the hair is growing. I'm going to keep my pin, like this one kind of curves a little bit, so I'm going to bring my line and have it curve in just a tad. Okay, and then the same for the other side. So right over here she's got this great little curl that's showing. And then she's also got this little part that comes underneath. I want to add a little bit of color there. And then I'm going to go up here and I'm going to do the same thing for this part. I'm going to bring that color up. And here it's kind of starting to swoosh towards the front, so I'm going to change the direction on my pen. I'm going to turn my image just a little bit here. And then we're going to get this cute little end of her hair. Here she's got the end. Here's a little curly Q. And I also want to do this side just a little bit because it looks like it's rolling over. So I want to add a little bit of a shadow right there to give it the appearance of rolling. Okay, that looks pretty good. Then I'm going to grab my E53, and so I'm going to go ahead and add that right on top of my 55. So I'm going to come in here and I'm going to extend my lines. I'm going to bring those lines down even further, and then I want to do the same thing from the bottom. I'm going to go up. That, and then we're going to get this cute little curly Q over here, and I'm going to go ahead and fill into her chin on this side. Then we're going to bring it up and bring down, and we're going to do the same thing up here for the top. So we're going to brush that right over the top of our 55 and bring it over. But I want to come from the ends too, so let's do that. There we go. And then we're going to fill it in with our E51. So I want to go ahead and grab that. I'm just going to brush right over the top of my E53 and fill in that little middle section there. You could also leave some white space if you like that look. That's fine. I tend to fill mine all the way in. I'm not into leaving the white space there. Sometimes I do, but not all the time. And then I go back with my E55 and I add some more highlights. So I'm going to go back over here and I'm just going to add a few strands of streaks in here. So I hold my pen more upright and I just add some small streaks in here. And I usually go down further than I went the first time with my 55. Just to add some texture in there. Like that. The same thing for either side on this side. And we're going to go in here. We're going to add some streaks right here on her hair. We're going to do the same thing for her bangs over here. And over here. Add some nice texture to her hair there. So now let's go work on her shirt and the alternate stripes on her leg warmers, her glove, and her socks. So I'm going to use E44, E43, and E42 for her shirt. And I'm going to start with E44. And her shirt, I'm going to add a little bit of my E44 right next to this fur she's got on her little coat. I'm going to come down here and go on top of her glove. And she's got a little wrinkle right here, so I'm going to go ahead and add a little bit to that wrinkle. And she's got a little pleat right here, so I'm going to add a little bit to that. And then down here, I'm going to say this is her shirt sticking out from her coat. And add a little bit underneath her little arm right here. And I'm going to go over here where it touches her leg warmer. Okay, and then I'm going to grab 43. And I'm going to flick right on top of my 44. I'm going to pull out just a little bit. I want to leave a little bit of space for my lightest color, so I'm not filling it all the way in. Down here, she's sitting on her fanny, so I'm going to go ahead and finish that off by coloring that all the way in. There's not going to be any highlights down there. And then up here on the top of her shirt, I'm going to take 42 and fill in just that little bit of space that was left. That. And then for her glove, I'm going to use for the alternate stripes on her leg warmers, her glove, and her sock accents, I'm going to use E42 and 41. So I'm going to start with my E42, and I'm going to do the bottom part of her glove. So I'm going to flick right up from the bottom of her glove. I'm going to get the bottom of this sock right here. I'm going to get the bottom of this sock. And get this bottom section of this, and then she's got some great little leg warmers on that I'm going to get some alternate stripes on. So pick a stripe and just start where you want it to go, and I'm going to do the bottom section of the stripe with my E42 like that. And same with this one over here. So we're going to get the bottom of this leg warmer. That one, this one, that one. And then I'm going to grab my E41 and I'm going to lay down on top of my 42, and we're just going to fill that in. So I'm going to go down here and get this sock. And we're going to fill in each of these cute little stripes. Fill in that stripe. That stripe, that one, So now let's work on some blue. And for my blues, I'm going to use B99, 97, 95, 93, and 91. And I'm going to start with her coat, and for that I'm going to use B99, 97, and 95. So I've grabbed my B99 first, and she's got this little spot right here that's inside of her coat. I'm going to fill that in. We're just going to lightly go right over that. And then she's got her great little sleeve that's kind of showing over here. So we're going to put a little bit of our B99 in there. Remember, we're putting this where we want it to be darkest. I'm going to say right there, and she's got a little pleat right here, so let's add a little bit right there. And then let's go over here and get this side of her jacket just a little bit. So I'm going to go down this little line here, jacket. I'm going to grab this little line, and let's do her sleeve on the bottom. And she's got some great little curlicues, so I'm going to grab a little dab of those. And this is pretty dark, so I don't think I'll do back here. I'm going to grab my B97 now. And I'm going to go in here and we're going to put just a little bit more on her sleeve. I want to leave a little bit there at the top for my lightest color. So I'm just going to leave a little bit of white right there. And we're going to go in here, and this time I want to add this darker one right down here along the back. And I'm actually going to do this side of her sleeve too. Okay, and then I'll get a little bit in here, and I'm going to grab just a little dab right next to her sleeve, but leave a little bit of white, because her fur on her coat would be casting a little bit of a shadow. I'm going to go around like that, and then I'm going to grab B95 to fill that in. So I'm going to go over here, fill in that little bit of white space. Fill in my white in there. Come down here in the back and fill that in. And then come in here for a sleeve and brush up and fill in that white space right there. Okay. And then I wanted her cuffs to still be blue, but be a little bit less, be a little bit lighter. So for that, I'm going to use B93 and 91. So I'm going to start with 93. And I'm going to brush up a little bit right here, and I'm going to give a little dab right there where the little squirrel is. And same for this side. We want to brush up from the bottom, and then we're going to add a little bit up here at the top. And I'm going to grab my 91 to fill it in. That'll just make it a little bit lighter. You could also leave it white and make it fur, if that's what you wanted. I just chose to color it all blue and say that it was folded up so it's a little bit lighter inside. I think I'll actually take my 95 and color in the inside of her sleeve right here a little bit, make it a little bit darker. So now we're going to let's move down to her gloves, and for her gloves we're going to use B99 first. So I'm going to get the accent on her glove right here where it's touching her sleeve. And then I want to do the bottom of this one. She's got a little bit showing over here, so I'm going to fill that in. And she also, I'm going to use this on these alternate stripes on her leg warmers. Oh, and right here, this is shirt. So I'm not going to color that. I'm going to come back and fix that in a minute. I missed that. But we're going to do the bottom of each one of these little stripes. Like this, with our 99. Okay, and then I'm going to grab 97 next. So we use 97. I'm going to fill the rest of this part of our little glove in. And then over here I'm going to brush up a little bit more. I want to leave a little bit more there at the top for my lightest one. And then each of these cute little stripes, you can either fill all the way in, or you can leave a little bit of white for your lightest color still. Leave just a dab, I think, if there's enough room on some of them there. Some of them are pretty small, so. Okay, and then I've got my B95, which is my lightest. And I'm going to color in her glove. And then the rest of all these little stripes on her leg warmers. Like that. And then for her socks down here, we're going to go back to our lightest, so we're going to do B93 and 91. So I'm going to start with 93, and I'm just going to brush a little bit up from right there. And then over here, we're going to get the bottom of her foot. and then I'm going to fill it in with 91. I'm just going to go right along there, touch that line just a little bit, soften that up. Okay, and that's it for our blues. But let's go up here and fix her shirt. So we've got E44 again. I forgot it. She's got it coming down here just a little bit more. So I'm going to go E44 right there. And then 43. I'm going to leave just a little bit of white there at the top. And then 42 to fill it in. Like that. So next let's go and do the fur on her coat and her wings. So for her fur and her wings, I'm going to use E42 and E41, and I start with my E42, and for her fur, I just made some little dots where I wanted it to be darkest, because later I'm going to go in and I'm going to add some Art Craftlon sparkle fluff on top of it. So I just gave it a little bit of shadows inside of her fur here, and added a few little dots so you would be able to see a little bit of texture underneath after you put the sparkly fluff stuff on. Just like that. And then she's got a little bit of fur down here at the bottom. So again, I'm just kind of dotting around, making some small dots. Like that. And I'm going to grab 41 and I'm going to do the same thing. So I'm just going to add some more small dots in there. Just giving it a little bit more. I've just got a little piece back here. A little bit more texture that you'll be able to see, because I didn't glob the sparkle fluff on. I just put a little bit on there to add a little bit of shadows and texture. A little bit of character to it. And then the same thing for her wings. I'm going to start with 42. And I just dabbed some on where I wanted it to be darker. So let's do a little bit on her wings back here, maybe a little bit on that wing right there, kind of follow maybe a little bit on the back sides of these little creases. We'll do a little bit up here. Okay, and then I'm going to do my E41 too, so I'm going to grab that, and I'm just going to go right along, adding some dots in there, and then later I came in with my quickie glue pen and I put some glue on some of these lines, and I added some Distress Clear Rock Candy stickles on the top of her wings here for some sparkles. So that's all I did for her wings. So now let's go do our squirrel. So for our squirrel, we're going to use E33, 31, and 30, and I'm going to start with my E33 first. And I'm going to put that where I want to have my shadowing. So let's start with this little arm here and add a little bit right along the edge. And let's do right along the bottom of his arm. Well, let me go tell the dogs to be quiet. Alright, sorry about that. The UPS men arrived. The dogs have to freak out every time. So we're going to continue with our E33. That's their entertainment for the day. Oh, someone's here! I'll go up here and add a little bit. And then for his face, I'm going to do a little bit right by his hat. Right like this. And maybe a little bit on the bottom part of his ear right here. I'm going to come around to his cheek. I'm actually going to continue over here. I'm going to leave a little bit right here of white. And oh, he's got a little ear poking out up here, so I'm going to add a little dab in there. Then I'm going to grab 31. And I go in here and brush on top of my 33 and add a little bit of color. And actually I filled that whole side in, but when I get to my lightest color, I'll just add a little bit on top of it. Okay, and then the same for his arm. Go in here, brush right over the top of our 33, and pull out here into our white space. Okay, for his face, I'm going to come all the way around. And we're going to go, whoops, the phone's ringing. Okay, so we're going to continue with our 31 here. And go around our little squirrel, add a little bit to his ear. Let's get this little ear up here. And then I'm going to grab E30 and fill in his arm. Let's go right along this arm. Brush right over that. And we'll fill in a little bit on his back. And brush over here. And I'm going to fill in his tummy with this color. And we'll go up here and do his ear. Fill in his ear. And oh, there's a little piece of glove right there. We'll have to do that here in a minute. That I missed. Okay, and then for his face, we're going to go up here. We're going to brush right over the top of our 31 and pull down. Okay, and that's still looking kind of blotchy, so I'm going to grab my E31 again. And same thing for down here on his arm. I'm going to pull a little bit up on his arm. This, on his side. Go around on his face a little bit better here. And then I grab my 30 again. And we're going to fill that all the way in. I go right around here. Brush away here a little bit and push it back. And do his ear again. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. Then I'm going to go do his tail. So again, I'm going to start with my 33. He's got this great little tail. I'm just going to take my brush and brush. Oh, it's looking like I need to refill my pen a little bit here. Oh, there we go. Must have had a little piece of gunk on it. Like it's not feathering very well. Okay, then I take 31. And I brush right over the top. And brush up here where it's going to start to curve over. And I'm going to use my 31 to fill in the underside of his tail. And then I'm going to take 30 and brush up here on the top of his tail. And brush down like this. Okay, I'm going to go back with my 31. And I'm going to add a little bit more on here. Maybe brush up a little bit further. And then take 31. Flick over that. And then fill it in with my 30 again. There, that looks better. Okay, so let's go do this branch up here that our little bird is sitting on. For my branch, I'm going to use E37, E34, and E30. I'm going to start with E37, and I'm going to lay down where I want to have some shadow. So I'm actually going to, and there's snow on some of these branches, so you get to kind of watch that. So she's got some little lines on here. I'm going to go ahead and color right over the top of those little lines. And up here I'm going to add a little bit where the snow is sitting on the branch. And maybe just add a few little lines of my own in there. Same for up here. We're going to add a little bit underneath of our snow. And then give it a couple little dabs of dark in there of our very own. And then I'm going to grab 34, and I'm going to color over the top of my 37 that I already laid down. That way it'll soften up each of those lines, and I'm just widening out my lines. But I'm still leaving a little bit of white space in there for my 30. Okay, and then I'm going to come back with my 30 and fill it in. And I'm brushing over the two colors I already laid down. That way it's softening up this line. I also forgot I was going to, right here underneath of his ear is a little piece of her glove that I forgot, so I'm going to take my B99 and fill that in like that. Now, let's go do the snow. So up here for our little branch, we got some snow. And I'm going to use C1, C0, and C00. And I'm just going to go along with my C1. And I'm going to add a few little dots right along where I think it would be some shadows, as there's some lines here. So I'm going to go ahead and use some of those lines. And maybe add a little bit in there where the snow drips down. I'm going to grab C0. I'm going to do the same thing. I'm just going to go over it and add a little bit more dots in there and kind of add some texture. And again, it's just for texture. Later I'm going to go back and I'm going to add, when I get all done, I'm going to use my quickie glue pen and add some glue in there, and then I'm going to dump some Ranger Distress dry stickles and the clear rock candy on it just to add some glitter in there. I'm going to do the same thing down here with my snowballs and my snow. So I'm going to start with C1. And I'm just going to add some dots where I think it would be darkest. So for my snowballs, I'm going to say it's around here on the bottom. I'm going to add a couple up here where these little dots are. And then for this one over here, again, I'm going to go around the bottom, but maybe add a couple where the dots, where those lines are. And then for our snow, let's do a little bit along these lines, along the bottom. Maybe add a couple next to her foot. I don't know why she doesn't have any shoes on. She's outside. Same thing down here. We're going to add a little bit of dots on there. And then she's got some great snowballs back here. So let's add a few little dots down at the bottom. Add a couple in here where these little lines are. And again, later when I get done with the card, I'm going to go in and I'm going to add some glitter in there. So I'm not too worried about how my dots look. I'm just adding a little bit of shading because I'm not going to cover the whole thing with glitter. I'm just going to go in and add some glue to my lines and stuff, and then leave part of the snow part white. And this is C1, or no, C0. And then I'm going to finish it off with C00. So again, you're just going in and adding some dots where you want some shadows to be. But I'm again leaving white space that you'll be able to see through the snow or through the glitter that I'm going to put on. Okay, so that leaves us with the red, so let's do that now. Alright, so for my reds, I'm going to use R27, R24, and R22. And I'm going to go down here, I'm going to do this cute little feather right here first. So I'm going to go ahead and take my feather and I'm going to draw my 27 right there at the top. Maybe add a little bit of flicking down here like this. And then I'm going to grab 24. And I'm going to deepen those lines up. Leave just a little bit, and then I'm going to grab 22 to fill it in. And I'm also going to dab a little bit of my 22 on each of these cute little circles right here. And our little glove right here has an accent on it that it looks like I forgot. So let me grab, let's do 97 for that. So I'm going to take my B97 and I'm going to color in this cute little flower right here, as long as I'm looking at it before I forget. And then let's go up here and do a little squirrel's hat. So again, I've got my my R27, and I'm going to say it's going to be dark right here. And I'm going to put a little bit back behind his fur right there. And I'm going to grab 24, add a little bit on top of that line, and then brush up from this line. And that'll leave enough space for my R22. And you could actually do the fur on his hat when you did the snow because it's the same colors, but I forgot, so we're going to come back and do that in just a second. Okay, and then we got a little bird up here. So again, I've got my R27, and I'm going to add a little bit along right here, right there, A little bit on his tail, his arms, maybe a little bit up here around his little head. Like that. Okay, and then I'm going to grab my 24. So we can zoom in just a little bit more. Okay, so I'm going to grab my 24. I'm going to dab right on the top of that. But I want to leave still, I don't want to cover his face and be too dark. So we're going to go leave quite a bit there so we can take our 22 for our highlight and fill it in. So I've got my R22, we'll go over all that. And we're going to do right on here. I think I'll go around here in a little bit of a circle around the outside and kind of swirl it around. That'll mix the colors together a little bit more. So it's such a small area. That gives him a nice little highlighted face. And then for his beak, I'm going to use Y15 to fill that in like that. And then let's go down here and do the snow on our little hat, on his squirrel's hat. So I'm going to take C1, and again I just added some dots in there because I'm going to go in, and again I'm going to, for my snow or for my fur, I put some sparkle fluff sugar on there. But I just wanted to have a little bit of texture that shows through, and this is C0. So it's not completely white. And then C00. So that is our Christmas card this month, Angelica from Whimsy Stamps. Isn't she so cute? And so here's the finished card right here. And when you get this little snowflake in your kit, I punched it out, but you're going to have to poke all these little holes and these little things out, otherwise I'd be sitting there forever doing that. So for my glitter stuff, for my Ranger's Distress Stickles Clear Rock Candy, I added that on the snow up here where the bird sits, down here on these snowballs, and on her wings, and then on, for our Craft On Sparkle Fluff, I added that to the fur of his ball of his hat, and then the fur on her jacket. And then I used the Ranger Distress Gold Glitter up here on her little halo. And yes, I had that everywhere, and I wore it for like 2 days. I still have glitter on me. But that is our cute little Whimsy Stamps Angelica card kit this month. If you'd like to pick her up, head over to the store and see if she's still available. And thanks for joining me today. See you next month for the new Christmas card kit. Have a great day.